The hum is the first thing you notice. It is a 15.5 kilohertz frequency. Most people over the age of 30 can't even hear it, but you can. It's been vibrating in the back of your skull since you started as a senior actuarial auditor for Ethelgard Systems. You are the person who finds the patterns in the pain. You track the cost of human misery. You analyze the claims for SSRIs, the billing hours for cognitive behavioral therapy, and the suicide ideation rates across every demographic in the continental United States. It is a Tuesday, 2:14 a.m. The air in the archive basement smells like stagnant electricity and old laser printer toner. You are running a cross-reference on the Zenith Group. This is a closed-loop insurance pool. It's not for the public. It's for the top 0.1% of the 1%. The people who own the banks that own the world. You expect to see high numbers. High-pressure lives usually equal high-dosage prescriptions. But the data doesn't show a spike. It shows a void. In a cohort of 10,000 high-net-worth individuals, the total expenditure for mental health services over the last decade is exactly $0. No Prozac, no Lexapro, no emergency psychiatric admissions. Statistically, this is not a miracle. It is a glitch in the fabric of reality. You check the mortality rates. They are lower than the national average, but the cause of death is never related to internal collapse. No overdoses, no accidental falls from balconies. They don't get depressed. They don't even get sad. They just function. You dig into the operational overhead. If they aren't paying for chemistry, they're paying for something else. You find it buried under a line item labeled passive bioreactive infrastructure. It's billed to a firm called Neurolimbic Logistics. You pull their filings. They don't make pills. They make hardware. Specifically, they hold the licensing for U.S. Patent 6506148B2. Nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors.
The technical mechanism is elegant in its brutality. It's called vagus nerve suppression, or VNS. The vagus nerve is the information superhighway of your body. It controls the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the rest and digest switch. But more importantly, it's the gateway to the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear, grief, and the existential dread that keeps you awake at night. The 1% haven't found a way to be happy. Happiness is volatile. Happiness is an overhead cost. They've found a way to be neutral. They have installed a biological mute button. You begin to apply the discovery to your own workflow. You aren't supposed to have access to the frequency modulation software in the server room, but the security protocols at Ethelgard are designed to keep people out, not to stop an internal auditor who knows where the decimal points are buried. You find the signal generator. You set the output to the zenith parameters, 15.5 kilohertz, a specific pulse width modulation. Day 1. The hum is no longer an annoyance. It's a tether. You feel the tension in your shoulders dissolve, not because you're relaxed, but because the muscles have lost the ability to signal fatigue. You work for 14 hours straight. You don't feel the need for coffee. You don't feel the need for praise. You are simply a processor. Day 4. You receive a performance review. Your manager is screaming. He's sweating, his face a mottled purple. You watch his carotid artery throb. Normally, your heart rate would spike to 110 beats per minute. Your palms would sweat. Your cortisol levels would flood your system. But you check your pulse. 62 beats per minute. Steady. The VNS is working. You look at him and feel nothing. Not anger, not fear, not even pity. He is just a noisy machine. You tell him you will optimize the spreadsheets. He stops screaming. He looks confused. He looks like a man who just tried to punch a ghost. Day 7. You stop eating for pleasure. Food is just caloric input.
You calculate the exact macronutrient ratio required to sustain 18 hours of cognitive output. You eat plain chicken and steamed spinach. It tastes like wet cardboard. You don't care. Taste is a luxury for the inefficient. Day 14. You have visited 3 cities this week. None of them were for vacation. You are following the Neurolimbic Logistics Service Trail. You find yourself in Virginia, in an office park that doesn't appear on Google Maps. The building is registered as an HVAC consultancy, but the air conditioning units on the roof are 3 times the size they should be. They aren't cooling the air. They are cooling the pulse generators embedded in the walls. You realize the scale of the architecture. This isn't just about a few CEOs. It's a systemic suppression field. It's in the high-end hotels. It's in the private terminals at Dulles and Heathrow. It's in the boardrooms of every Fortune 500 company. The 1% have built a world where they are immune to the friction of the human soul. Depression is the body's way of saying something is wrong. If you remove the ability to feel that something is wrong, you can do anything. You can fire 10,000 people. You can collapse a currency. You can start a war. And you will sleep like a baby, because the signal won't let your amygdala fire. You think of Dr. Jose Delgado, 1963. He stood in a bull ring with nothing but a small radio transmitter. When the bull charged, he pressed a button. The stimulation implanted in the bull's brain triggered a sudden inhibitory response. The bull stopped. It didn't get angry. It didn't get scared. It just stood there, its purpose deleted. The public thought the project was shut down because it was unethical. The reality is much more clinical. It wasn't shut down. It was perfected. And it was privatized. By day 21, your productivity is up 400%. You are the perfect employee. You are the perfect auditor. You have identified $3 billion in emotional leakage within Ethelgard systems. You are rewarded with a promotion to the Zenith tier. You are given a new office on the top floor. It is beautiful. It is silent, except for the hum. The hum is louder here. It's not just in the air. It's in the furniture. It's in the very glass of the windows. You sit at your desk and look at a photograph of your family. You remember that you loved them. You remember the heat of that emotion. But it's like looking at a technical manual for a machine you no longer operate. You try to force a tear. You try to summon a memory that hurts. You think of your mother's funeral. You think of the way the dirt sounded hitting the casket. Your heart rate remains at 62 beats per minute. The VNS loop is closed. That's when the revelation hits you. You weren't a genius for discovering the Zenith group. You weren't a whistleblower. You were a candidate. The audit wasn't a task. It was an aptitude test. They didn't leave the data exposed by accident. They left it as breadcrumbs. They needed to see if you had the technical capacity to understand the system and the psychological predisposition to crave its effects. You are not the explorer. You are the asset. You look at the mirror in the executive washroom. You see the small surgical incision behind your left ear. You don't remember the surgery. You check your calendar. There was a 48-hour gap in your memory from last weekend. A routine wellness retreat in the Swiss Alps. Your bank account shows a deposit of $500,000. A signing bonus for a contract you don't remember signing.
You realize that depression isn't a disease. It's the safety brake of the human psyche. It's the part of you that says, this is too much. It's the part of you that demands change. By removing it, the 1% haven't found freedom. They found a way to become permanent parts of the machine. They are the engines that never stop, because they've forgotten how to overheat. The walls of your new office are painted a specific shade of passive white. It's designed to reflect the 15.5 kilohertz frequency with 99% efficiency. You realize you can never leave this room. Not because the door is locked. The door is wide open. But because the world outside is full of friction. Outside there is grief.
Outside there is the crushing weight of reality, and you have lost the calluses required to feel it. You sit back in your ergonomic chair. Your spine is perfectly aligned. Your breathing is shallow and rhythmic. You look at the monitor. The hum is now a part of your heartbeat. You think about the people downstairs, the ones paying for therapy, the ones crying in their cars, the ones struggling to get out of bed because the world is too heavy. You realize you don't want to be them, and that is the final trap. The system doesn't just suppress your sadness, it suppresses your desire to be human. You are a persistent asset now. You are optimized. You are efficient. You are empty. The 1% don't get depressed because they are no longer there to feel it. There is no one home. There is only the hum. And as you watch the cursor blink on your screen, in perfect synchronization with your own pulse, you realize the hum is getting louder. Or maybe you're just getting quieter.
Don't worry. The transition is almost over. You won't feel anything ever again. Can you hear it? 15.5 kilohertz. Pure, stable, silent. Stay focused. The spreadsheets need you. And you, well, you don't need anything at all.